remember how you made me feel. I want my children to always feel loved and worthy. And if there are any dark shadows in a child's heart, I will try to address them. Children are very sensitive. They know when they're weak in certain areas, like academics or social interactions or speaking in front of the class. I try to shore up these areas by tutoring, praising, and a lot of responsibility. I say to the children, I have full faith in you. I don't care if you make mistakes. That doesn't even matter. But what matters is you do your best and that you show me good faith. And they do. You'll be amazed of what a confident and empowered first grader can do. They take their jobs very seriously. A girl captain came up to me this week, very seriously, resolute. Mrs. Kreider, our manager is out. Could I just go ahead and do his job? How great is that? What do I receive for all my efforts? Something more valuable than rivers of gold and buckets of diamonds. I receive a child's love and respect. Important responsibility, I think a very important responsibility I have is to teach the wisdom of a cheerful heart. I firmly embrace the wonderful adage, the fool says tomorrow I will be happy. The wise man grows happiness under his feet. When I see little sprouts of happiness, I am thrilled. I taught the children this year about dendrites and how if they encounter problems they've never had before and they have to work really hard, that their brain is actually growing dendrites and making them smaller. A lot of times I start my math with "Viva la dendrites!" I was in the middle of my lesson and a student went like this and said, "Mrs. Kreider, I have a horrible headache." And I went over and I said, "Did you bump your head at recess? Are you sick?" And he says, "No, I just built too many dendrites." We all laughed. Then I was using my button because I have all sorts of devices. Believe me, I searched the land for anything that will praise a child, so I have my no button. And I use my no button as to encourage children or praise them. And when they've done well, and I say, "Did Fred give up when the math got hard?" No. Did he put the book down and stomp out? So all of a sudden Lauren raised her hand and I go over to her and she said, "I can do that." And so I took her hand, I pressed on the top of her hand and she said, "No." I pressed it again, she said, "Absolutely not." And we all cracked up. I was over the moon because she had grown little sprouts of happiness under her feet. Being a teacher makes you keep a tidy soul. If you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. Children don't think you'll be honorable. Children trust you'll be honorable. And it's not always easy. It was recess, and Claire comes running into the room. "Mrs. Kreider, a squirrel has fallen down from the tree. It's on the ground, it's hurt, you gotta help it." And I wanted to say, "Claire, I don't do squirrels." I wanted to say, "Claire, I'm not a squirrel whisperer." And then I thought, how am I going to get out of this pickle? So I thought, animal control. And I thought, okay, animal control. Where's a squirrel on their list of priorities? And I said, well, it's above a rat. But I thought, no, but it's below a rabbit. So I said, forget animal control. And I thought, the custodian. And I thought, oh, that's really noble, Kreider. You're going to throw a custodian under the bus, or, as we say on this thing, under a squirrel, because of his job description. So I took a deep breath, I grabbed a box, and I walked resolutely out to that squirrel. I got down on my knee with my box, and I looked at him and I said, "Mr. Squirrel, I'm a nice person. I love animals. Please don't bite me. But I said, if you have to bite me, please don't have rabies." Fortunately for me, and not Mr. Squirrel, he was quite woozy. And I could easily scoop him in the box. And then Fran Galpretti, my wonderful instructional assistant, whisked him off to Lindsay Wildlife so he could climb another tree. Teaching virtues is a high priority at St. Francis, and I love teaching virtues. When a student does something, some robust action that embraces a virtue, I do everything in my power to recognize it. Just this week, a boy found $10 on the playground, and he brought it to me immediately. So at recess, I took him around, I took him to the principal, Sister James Marion. Look, he found $10, he turned it in, and she says something nice to him. Then I went to the vice principal. Then I went to a 4th grade teacher, and I said, "Miss Marzinkowski, this is Lars. Look at his face. That's a face of honesty and integrity. So when he comes to your class, don't forget him." So. Then I went back in the classroom, and we do the town crier. One of my students calls it the town Kreider. And so I had my bell, and so I say, hear ye, in the land of Kreider del Preti. Lars will be hereby known as Lars the Very Honest. We never know the breadth of our influence. I was so thrilled at a parent conference. A parent told me that her 3 or 4-year-old child, younger child, was throwing a temper tantrum, and my student jumped up, ran over to him, pointed at him, and said, "Be noble." And the mother says she was so shocked that her daughter did that she said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "That means you do what's right." And of course, I was so excited about all that. Students are endearing and so funny. It was the first day of school, and I gave a student something to do, and she looked at me and she said, "I don't think I'm going to be doing that." And I just chuckled and said, "Oh, just do it." Second day of school, I give her something, she says, "No, I'm really not going to be doing it." And I said, "Mrs. Del Preti, please take the class." I took her outside and I said, "Look, do you want me to have to turn into the Wicked Witch of the West? Could we strike a deal? Look, I'll try to be the best teacher I can. The whole year I'll be kind and good and try to give you great education. Do you think you could just do what I ask you to do?" And she went like this. I was in the middle of my puppets. Full swing, and I have to make them like they're really alive. This one boy comes up. I'm in puppets, but he comes and goes, "Psst, psst, Miss Kreider." He kind of pulls me aside and he said, "Mrs. Kreider, you know they're not real, don't you?" When I found out that I was going to be speaking with you tonight, I got a little rattled. And I think that when you get rattled, you default to what you feel comfortable doing. So when I found out, I ran to Fran Galpretti, I grabbed her by the arm and said, "Fran, I'm going to need to speak in front of all these people. I think I'll bring Rackles the raccoon, and I'll do a little puppet show." And she said, "Karen, let me think about that." No! It is, you may thank Fran Galpretti, she's over there, that you're not having dinner with Rackles. Fran, rare people that plot your happiness. She works